Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a picture frame assemblage project I did on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream show. If you'd like to watch this in real time, I can put a link below the video that you can check out the other channel with the live stream. This project was inspired by the October mood board over in the Art Joy of Sharing art community on Facebook. If you haven't joined that yet, there'll be a link below the video and you can click on that and ask to join. So I was doing this project on the live stream and I forgot to turn on my secondary camera. So the first part of it's a wooden frame made by Plaid, and I bought it inexpensively at Walmart, and I had coated the wood with a coat of Daniel Smith's gold gesso. If you look at the mood board for this month, it has a lot of sparkle and shimmer on it. There's some glittery shoes, there's a shimmery tie, there's glitter on some lips. The colors are orange and terracotta type colors, amber, and also like a sage green color, olive or sage green. So those are the colors I'm planning on using, and I thought having a coat of gesso on this wood is a good idea because wood's very absorbent, so anything that you put on there gets, absorbed a lot, and it's just a good idea to put a coat of gesso and seal everything on the wood before you start your project. So I just happened to use this shimmery Daniel Smith gold gesso for this. Then in addition to the mood board, Cindy Utter had challenged us to use washi tape, which is not something I use very often, and I guess there was a conversation going on about, is it useful or not? And so we both, Peg and I, we do the live stream together. If you guys haven't watched it, Peg and I both had to use some washi tape. So I started my composition, and that was before I turned the secondary camera on, using washi tape in strips going both horizontally and vertically. I glued all that washi tape down with heavy gloss gel from Deco Art. Washi tape, the one thing I don't like about it, it doesn't have a very strong adhesive, and so it doesn't stick down. So I put that adhesive under and over it to make sure it stuck down. In some cases I tore it, and then I wanted to imitate that texture on the cactuses that's in the picture in the center of the mood board. And so I had this twisted paper. Paper twists used to be a thing back in, I don't know, a while ago, to create things out of this, and you untwist the paper, and this one happens to be a piece of a handle from a shopping bag, like a paper shopping bag. Sometimes you get handled ones, and that twisted paper is what is on the handles. So I untwisted it, and then I started to glue that down, going both horizontally and vertically. It looks like cactus because it has the ridges. And what I was trying to do, and what I am trying to do, is to build up a lot of texture. That's what assemblage is to glue a lot of things on and make a good texture and a good 3D feel to it before you start adding color. Other things that I added were a paper doily that I tore in half and added in a couple places, some copper trim, and this metal piece that I made on another Art Joy of Sharing show. And if I can find it, I will give you a link to the speed version, if there is one, of when we were working with lightweight metal to make textured pieces. And this one is made out of a Mountain Dew can. So that's the sunshine there. I drew that, and then I embossed it into a metal piece from a can. And then these other two small metal pieces were some that I received in Happy Mail, and they had been put through a texture plate before being cut out with a die cut machine. So other things that I'm attaching are made out of wood. I have a lot of little wood pieces, and I discovered that these kind of teardrop shaped ones and this oval one, which I cut part of it off, and when you stack them together, they look like a prickly pear cactus. And since there was cactus in the mood board, I decided that I would add those kind of to balance the larger piece of the sunshine at the top corner. on the left side, I needed something fairly substantial on the lower right side to balance the piece. So this is what I ended up creating, is this uh, prickly pear cactus with these other taller, longer cactuses in the background. So I am using heavy gloss gel pretty thickly and heavily on the back of these pieces to attach them. The reason I'm using gloss gel instead of matte is because I want everything to be shimmery and I don't want to matte down anything. And I started with the shimmery gesso and I need to continue that. So the gloss gel doesn't matte anything. That's the reason I'm using it. And then also, if it's a pretty heavy piece, in order to hold it into place while I'm continuing to work, since the gloss gel doesn't dry instantly, I am also attaching it with hot glue, and the hot glue keeps it in place while the gloss gel dries. So kind of a double adhesive there. Right now I'm putting on some glass bead gel. This one is another medium, and it's just basically heavy gloss gel with glass beads in it, which give a bumpy texture. And so I'm adding those around. I was thinking about the little dots that you have on cactus that they just look like little white dots, and I thought maybe having some of that texture on there would give the idea of that type of I mean, that's actually the spines, but they don't look like spines from a distance. They just look like dots. So then once I have all my different pieces of texture on there, I am going over it, going over everything with the gold gesso and making everything uniform. This is the first step of the adding color process. Once you've created all your texture and all your shapes, then you go over them with some type of a unifying color. Sometimes it's black gesso, sometimes it's white gesso. This time it happens to be gold gesso. So I'm just making sure that in and around the creases and over all the stuff is the gesso. I did dry this with a heat tool, but it's not completely dry. It'll take 24 hours for it to dry, but I just wanted enough of a coat over that bead gel that I could go over it with the gesso and continue the process. The live stream show is an hour and a half, and so we really do need a lot of heat tool drying to get through all of it because, yeah, nothing dries in time. It's tricky to do wet medium. So one thing I like about this gold gesso is slightly transparent or translucent. And so some of the things show through from the background. So when you see the close-up, you'll be able to see some of the washi tape design and some of the other patterning and things that come through the translucent gesso. So now I'm adding a little bit of acrylic paint. I have out the olive and the cheddar from the Dina Wakley colors. The olive wasn't dark enough, so I thought I would get out a little bit darker of that color tone. So I got out the pesto, chopped pesto from Diane Reevely's paints. First I got out Dirty Martini, but it was completely dry, completely dried up, so I had to throw it away. So I'm dry brushing with a stiff brush, and then I decided, no, I really need more color than that. I need it to stand out even more. So I got out my Marabou alcohol inks. I bought these as a set of, I think there's, I don't know, 24 maybe colors altogether. And I'm starting out with the color olive and putting the alcohol ink on. And the nice thing about the alcohol ink is because it's fluid, it soaks itself or sinks itself down into the crevices. So it helps the texture of everything show by sinking down and sucking into the lower parts of the texture and leaving the upper part lighter. Hard to see on the video, I know, but when you look at the close-ups of the project at the end, you will be able to see what I'm talking about. I also had a red orange and I applied some of that, and then I have this lime, kind of a lime or apple green that I applied, and then also a lemon yellow. I also think I used the bronze color at some point. At this point, I've got out a piece of felt and I'm spraying some 91% isopropyl alcohol on there so that I can blend a little bit and get a more blended line instead of a very harsh line. This might be where I'm using the apple green, maybe. I end up at the end adding more of that green color up in the upper left side in a couple areas because I realized that I only put the green down at the lower right. But I think that's after the camera got turned off. So now I have the bronze. That's a copper metallic alcohol ink. I'm adding that in places. And it's shimmery, of course. You know, it's a little bit metallic-y, which goes with the theme. If you look at that mood board, everything is shiny on it. I'm not sure that I did that on purpose. I'm not sure. Anyway, I made the mood board this month, and I don't know what I was thinking when I made it. But I know that the colors are good for October. And, of course, if you're going to dress up, you should have glitter shoes and glitter lips and glitter eyebrows and whatever you want if you're going to dress up for Halloween. So that's appropriate. So this one is called Cinnamon. The color is called Cinnamon, and I thought I needed some darker color behind things and in the background. And of course I had to create a ground at the bottom, a place for my cactuses at the bottom to be planted because, yeah, I don't like it when things float. So I also use the alcohol on the piece of felt to blend that out a little bit. And then I got out this Gina K Designs glitter texture paste and put it through a stencil that's it's scales, like mermaid scales or dragon scales. I think I got that from Artbox. Artbox? Is that what it's called? You get a box. It's a subscription. And I've done a couple videos for them. Then I also added some of the orange colored glitter from Gina K Designs. It's also a glitter paste that you can use for texture. Then I sprayed on a little bit of alcohol just to try to get things to blend. I'm thinking maybe I need something, so I'm getting out some stick-on rhinestones for the centers of my flowers and looking for different ones in the bag. I have this bag of rhinestones. I need a better way to organize my stuff so that I can find what I need when I need it. Especially on a live stream show. It's hard to look for things when you're on a live stream show. So I found a few ones that I wanted for the centers and then stuck those on. And then I believe the next thing I did was I decided I needed more. So I picked out a couple more little metal pieces. These were sent to me by a viewer in Happy Mail, and she takes cans, aluminum cans, and cuts out shapes with a die cut machine. So these are little flower shapes. And of course, alcohol ink is meant to color things that are too smooth to be colored by anything else. And of course, metal would be one of those. So I'm using some more of that red, orange, and bronze to color these two flowers. And I just did it before I glued them on. And then I glue them on there with hot glue. I don't even think I get the gel back out. I just glue them on with hot glue. Time's running out, so then I add a little bit more in places that of the yellow that I thought needed to be. I don't want any of that silver to show. Everything is so warm toned on here, and of course the aluminum is naturally silver, so I don't want any of that to show. I bring back out the cinnamon and go around and give them a shadow like I did with everything else so that it blends in. And then I need a couple rhinestones for them too, so I have to find that as well. Here I'm adding some brown from those Marabou inks to really try to get the face on the sunshine to show up more. It's indented, and so the alcohol ink should sink down into it, and then the lighter parts should be lighter. Add some more glitter gel here and there. Glitter paste, I guess it is. It's fun stuff. I need to use it some more because I think it's really nice and sparkly and shiny. So if you're enjoying this assemblage video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And be sure to turn on your notification bell when you subscribe so that you know when there's a fresh new video. You don't have to watch it, but it'll at least tell you that there is one. All those things really help my channel grow, and that's always helpful. So now I have a piece of sandpaper and I'm sanding off the top layer of things. And I sanded it all the way back to the silver. So I get back out that lemon yellow and just color the silver with the lemon yellow so that it's not silver. But that does help bring out the highlights in the face. Still wasn't looking much like a face on the sun, so I needed to fix that. And then what else do I do? I don't even remember. Oh yes, I decide that I need to just kind of tone down all the rest of the gold. It's very gold, and I thought maybe I would take my alcohol ink application tool, put some felt on it, and then use some of that cinnamon colored alcohol ink and just rub it around on the gold here and there, bringing out some more of the texture of the different things that I glued on and in the beginning, like the doily and the washi tape and things like that. When you go over it with that tool, then it kind of catches the texture and makes it stand out a little bit more. So I'm almost pretty much done with this. The only thing I finished at the very end was I did add some of that olive color up around the sunshine in a few areas just so that it would be more balanced. And that is it. It does have a easel back thing that I can put in there with the picture. So thanks for watching. That's it for me. Bye-bye.